Good evening everyone and welcome to the Project Cars 2 AOR Formula Renault 3.5 League on the PC season number 2, round number 3. Tonight we are racing at Spa. My name is Thompson and I will be doing commentary for you tonight, so I hope you are all doing absolutely fantastic and are as excited for the race as I am. Now we're coming up to kind of the midpoint of the season already after this round, so I think the first couple of drivers should now be fully in the rhythm with this quite difficult to drive car we have seen at the last couple of venues. But before we get going, let's have a little look at the current standings as they are after the second round. So as we can see, Yogok, who had won the first two races, didn't have the best of rounds last time out in Japan and has dropped down to third. Whereas Mike here is now in first after a first and third place, and obviously not to forget Inky Chris. Sorry, that's what I wanted to say. Is in his first outing, he managed a third and then a win due to a penalty for, I think, Speedy Go that was. Yeah, he finished in second because he had about a 4.5 second lead, but he did have a 6 second penalty, so he lost that win due to that fact. So I'm pretty sure we're going to have an exciting mid-part now of the season coming up, as we have, as I've said, Mike, Jack Game and Yogok currently very close there at the top. Speedy Co, also a very quick driver, not quite stringing together the results so far, and we have Inky Chris in fifth, who had a very great first round for him. So let's see if he can continue with that pace and catch up to the top guys, even though he has missed the first two races. Alright, I can hear cars going out on track, so let's go there now. There we go, and let's go with Mike. Where is he? We have talked about him. There he is in the black and white Fanatec liveried car, currently the championship leader, very young lad from the Netherlands, and it's going to be interesting to see whether he can keep up his form. As far as I know, this is the first league he's ever raced in, so definitely not a lot of experience behind the wheel, but quite a decent amount of pace. So it's going to be interesting to see what it's doing. And that was someone off. That was not Yogurt. That might have been Speedy Go. Where is he though? Is he there tonight? Unfortunately, I can't find him right there, but I think that's him there on the left. But I found if Choco was green, and I'm not quite sure yet how I'm supposed to abbreviate that if I don't want to say the full name every time. He is new to the league, has signed up before this round, and will now also race. I'm just having a look. I know we have another new sign up, whether he is there or not. Yes, there he is. It's Cameron 951320. He's also new to the league, so it's going to be interesting to see where he will slot in. So Mike has just started his flying lap, so let's go on board with him and have a little look at the circuit, the Spa-Francorchamps, as we come down into Eau Rouge and up Radillon now. A very fast sweeping section, a bit scary in these cars, but manageable. As we come now down the Kemmel Straight, best overtaking opportunity of the lap. And now as we come into the left of Lecom. And Mike with a good line there. Now, this is Brussels, also known as understeer corner, because the track drops away quite significantly from you, but no problem there from Mike. This is the left-hand no-name corner. And now one of the fastest corners is Pouon. A bit of a lift there. Slow the car down a little bit and then accelerate out of the corner. As we now come to a fast chicane. I think Mike might have backed off there a little bit. At least it sounded like it. Anyway, this is the fast chicane of Campus. And now we have the Stavelot section at the... I think this is the lowest point of the track, if I remember correctly. And now we make our way up the hill again towards Blanchimont. And before the next left-hander, which is Blanchimont, so about here, this is going to be the formation point for the main race. And then on the start-finish straight will be the acceleration zone, as we now have the last chicane. And then Mike will start a new lap. So that's one lap of Spa. So Mike did slow down somewhere in the mid part. Not quite sure why. I guess he wasn't very happy with his time anyways. So he just went ahead and tried and get an optimal exit for his next flying lap. Yoguk currently in first with 1:56.0. That's very, very, very fast. As I think he's just giving his teammate a bit of slipstream there. Happy Al currently in second, as he has a bit of an excursion here. I think he's just pulled off to the side, to go back to the pits. Inky Chris has pipped him. He's done a 1:57.3, so I'm going to say that's the second driver who got a lap in that he would be somewhat happy with, perhaps. The other driver's currently not on the pace of Yoguk, as Grimazika here currently in third. He's been very consistent so far in the top 6-ish the last couple of rounds, but hasn't had the fortune to finish on the podium yet, as he has a moment there of at the top of Radiong there, and just held on to that one. That could have been a very nasty accident there. So Happy Al now down into fourth. Smolder is currently in P5. Then we have Ritvars here in P6. Vlad is currently 7th. If Choco was green, let's call him Choc, just for keeping it short. So Choc here currently in 8th, which I think is not too bad considering his first race. Jack Game 88 currently in second in the championship, hasn't put together a decent lap so far. Only currently in 9th, 6.5 seconds off pole position. And a good evening, obviously, to everyone who's joining in now. And that is Ritvars with a one grid place penalty for pit lane violation. So somebody forgot to put his limiter on when coming out of his garage. And that will set him back by one position currently. So Speedy Go still hasn't set a time. Let's see what he can do. I think the lap where he did get slipstream from his teammate Yoguk, I think that was one lap earlier. And we can see he's on an out lap actually, because he's still warming his tyres. So that lap probably didn't go to plan. So he'll have to go around and try again, as he will start his flying lap very soon. Cameron, notable mention, as I've said, it's his first race this season, and he's already in third, even though he's 3.5 seconds off currently. But do not be misled. Yoguk had a very good qualifying pace in Japan as well 2 weeks ago, and then in the race just a huge amount of mistakes meant that he finished, I think, 11th and 6th. So qualifying is only half of the job done, really. Or maybe a third, considering we have 2 races. So we'll have to wait and see if Yogurt can keep that pole position, and if he can then profit from that good starting position. So Yogurt set another fastest lap, improved by half a second. So he's now on a 1:55.5. That currently puts him 1.8 seconds ahead of Inky Chris. So let's see if he can improve his lap time. Looks like he's currently on a flying lap. And I'm just wondering what that livery might be called, because it's doesn't have any sponsor logos on it, as other cars usually have. So I'm just having a look. Doesn't say on my list. Never mind. So that's the standard car then. He's got the number 1 on it though, so I guess that must be a nice feature to have, as he's coming out through the final chicane, really pushing it to the limit. See if he can improve. Currently a 57.3, and no improvement there. Sorry, he did improve to a 56.6. So he's currently a good second off pole position, as Fubar now improves to 57.2, which puts him provisionally in a third. We've got 4.5 minutes remaining. So if you drive out now, you might be able to get in 2 laps. So I'm gonna guess that we'll see everybody pop to the pits now, and then come back out again to make one final run here in the qualifying session. Here we have Hegelum, who's also in the black and white Fanatec car, teammate of Mike in racing team Oranje. And he currently hasn't been able to set a lap time, which is not very optimal, because we are continuing to gain drivers with every round, and that means obviously if you start last, you're starting further and further away from the pole position with each ongoing round. So, Hegelum now in the final sector, and so far this lap has looked fairly clean, and he's got another 7 litres in the tank, so in theory he should be able to do another lap after this one. He would probably even have the time to do 2, but let's wait and see what time he can set. And it's a 1:59.9, so just under the 2-minute mark. Currently puts him 11th, but as I've said, he'll get another shot at it. Interestingly, Yogurt, yeah, he's now coming out of the pits, and oh dear, that will be very interesting if he manages to cross the line in time, because he's only got 2 minutes left, and he's still not out of the pit lane. There he goes. So he might just get across the line before the timer ticks down. I have to wait and see. Speedy Go has now catapulted himself up into 3rd. So looking good for the Alpha Red Flying Monsters. Currently in 1st and 3rd. And Mike, championship leader, currently only in 4th, but he's on an outlap currently, and I'm sure he'll have another go at it. And it looks like the track also might be improving a little bit, so obviously the lap times will be easier to improve now at the end of the session, as we have little more than a minute left of qualifying. So, Speedigo improving by 4/10. I'm not quite sure if 4.6 litres will give him another lap. But he's currently now in 2nd. So, front row lockout for the Alpha Red Flying Monsters there. Speedigo set that 156.2. Whoopsie-daisy. And that is Speedigo into the wall there. And that's what I mentioned with, I think that was Grumazika who had a similar moment there. So Speedigo will not be able to improve his time, as Mike has now started his flying lap. Let's have a look at Yogurt here. He is now coming down to the bus stop, and that was someone behind him as well. So he might be just getting across the line. As we have that was 1 second remaining there. And I think a driver behind him didn't make it, actually. But, I think Yogurt might have not made it as well, as he's now stopped and in the pits. So that's a bit unfortunate there for him. So currently the top driver still on the lap is Mike. And I think he might be second to last to cross the line. So let's have a look at Smolder. Can he improve his current lap? And looks like he didn't, so it's going to be P6 there for him. Camera 95 now coming out the last corner. Currently in 7th. That would be a good starting position for his first race. And he improves to P6. So, very good qualifying there from him. Happy Al didn't improve his time. We've got Atomic, who's currently in 9th. Also just in the 59s. Currently 3.8 seconds off Yogurt's time. Oh, and that surely has ruined his lap there. As he had a moment of oversteer there during that chicane. Let's see what can Mike do. And he is actually invalidated. Oh no, he actually didn't. There you go. That's a 156.0. And I think if Yogurt hadn't improved his lap, that would have been very close between the two. So he's going to start 2nd. Broke that front row lock up from the Alpha Red Flying Monsters. Let's see what Fuba can do. And I don't think he improved. We'll have to wait and see to the results. There we go. So that's the end of qualifying. Yogurt is gonna start on pole position, and again he will have Mike next to him. Speedigo, the teammate of Yogurt, in 3rd. Inky Chris continuing his good pace. He's starting in P4. Then we've got Fuba in 5th. Cameron in his first outing here in P6. Then Atomic 7th. Smaller P8. Happy Allen 9th. And Vlad's in 10th. And as I was just saying that, oh no, that's not looking very good. We've lost about 15 drivers there. So I'm gonna guess we'll have to restart the lobby, it seems. So that's very unfortunate. And I've just got the confirmation that we'll restart the lobby. And I've just noticed that you didn't have any car sound during that qualifying, so I apologize for that. But I hope I kept you entertained throughout that qualifying. But yeah, looks like unfortunately we had some technical issues going into the sprint race. So we'll restart the lobby and then start that race. So I'm gonna wait for the lobby restart, and then we'll get back into it. Yeah, so definitely an interesting qualifying session. I'm not quite sure though if they'll do one again, or if they'll do a rolling start and a manual grid instead. So we'll have to wait and see. Currently it's set to a standing start, so we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. Alright, everybody is now joining the lobby, so I hope we'll get back on track very soon. And get into the sprint race, because it was looking to be a very interesting one there at the front. And especially the midfield seemed to be very close there on pace. Everyone somewhere between a 1:58 and a 2-minute flat. Alright, so we'll have to wait and see what kind of start they'll try and do now due to the restart. But obviously, as it seems, they're already talking about who was in what position, so I'm just gonna guess here that they'll do a manual start. We'll have to wait and see. And I think this is everyone in the lobby. I've just sent the coordinator message just to check in what the plan is now for the start of the race. So I don't know if you can type back, but we'll see. So we can see we've got light cloud, so nice weather. And then for the next race, just having a look, it's gonna be overcast, so that's gonna be a bit different then, a bit cooler. Now everybody on the grid, everybody will have 2 minutes time to get their setups and strategies in order. So check the setup, check the fuel load, and check your pit stop strategy options. Obviously in the sprint race there's no mandatory pit stop, so you want to usually set your pit stops to repair only in the first race, and then in the second race there will be a mandatory stop. So once the 2 minutes are over, I'm just having a look. It looks like we've got one driver less. So who's that? Difficult to find out now after this. But yeah, looked like we lost a driver there. So I don't know if... oh, that's actually Darth Cyrus has retired. So I don't know why that is. And I hope we don't have to restart again. But judging by what we're seeing now, the race is going to start now. And then we'll sort the order manually to get into the right positions. So you can see everybody pulling to the side now to let other people through. So we can see Yogok now taking the lead here. The only thing I'm not quite sure yet if they'll actually try to stop in their grid boxes manually. But I don't think that's a viable option. So it looks like we're going to switch to a rolling start for the sprint race as well. So we can see Yogok now in first position. And Mike there in second. And I've seen in the last couple of races that he is a fairly aggressive starter. So if he sees a chance to get past, he will try and do so. They've got the second Alpha Red Flying Monster Car in MP number 3. Inky Chris in 4th. Fubar in P5. Cam in 6th. Atomic in 7th. Smolder, Happy Al, and Vlad. So the top 10 is all the same. So I'll try and find out who has been missing, although I think it's literally just Darth Cyrus there. So it looks like Gromo Zika in 11th then. Hegelon, Mike's teammate there in P12. Got Ritvars in 13th. Got Jack Game with a not very good qualifying session, only starting in 14th. He's currently second in the championship though. Now we've got the Kinky One in P15. I've got Choc 16th, TPW, and Dom apparently also not the best of sessions in qualifying. They're going to round off the back row of the grid. So you can see York waiting up for everybody to catch up here at the end of Kemmel. And I think, as we should see, there's TPW, there's Dom coming around the corner now. So Dom will say, go, go, go. And then they'll continue on their formation lap. There we go. So everybody's now in the correct order. Now they're going to try and get heat into their tyres and brakes. And I think the formation lap speed that the leader's supposed to have is, I think, 120 kilometers or 70 miles per hour. I think 75 is more accurate, to be honest. So you can see he's actually currently doing a bit more than that. So it looks like it might actually be 130 and 80 miles. So I've had issues the last couple of weeks that the formation laps were a bit slow and or erratic. So York has been very voiced about that. And now as he's leading a formation lap, he's trying to set a good example here. You can see everybody snaking now. We can have a look at the onboard map there. We see everybody going on their way. And this is Dom in the back. This is what his view on the formation lap looked like. He's got everybody ahead of him and a lot of work ahead of him as well. If he wants to get some points, obviously points are awarded for top 15 drivers. Alright, now we're coming to the formation point, which is about here. So should see that Yog has now dropped his speed. It's going to drop it to about 80. Everybody's going to line up in a 2x2 formation. That's going to be very interesting going through the last chicane there. And then on the front, or the main straight, there's the acceleration zone. And at any point in that acceleration zone, Yogok can decide to go. And have to wait and see whether he can get a good start there. Everybody's coming around now. Yogok is waiting a bit, and looks like he's still not gone yet. And he's left it very late there to go. So race is underway. And it looks like Speedy Go got a good start there. Inky Chris onto the grass a little bit. Got sideways, held onto it, but I think lost some time. Is now down into 5th. And Speedy Go actually got past Mike there, but Mike is right behind the Alpha Red Flying Monster there. Inky Chris going side by side there with Cameron, who's up into 5th already. And I think he's got past. Yes, he has, but he's got a worse exit. Mike having a look here. Now around the outside of Speedy Go. Obviously, DRS will be wide open. And you'll have a look. Round the outside there is going to be the latest of the late breakers. Nowhere to go there for him. Has to slot in behind. And, oh, that was a bit of a moment there. So he slot back into 3rd. And looks like a very good start there for the Alpha Red Flying Monsters. And for most drivers in general, but I think that's Happy Al. Oh, no! Oh, that's gone horribly wrong there for him. And I think he's collided with Vlad there as well, who had nowhere to go. And that's very unfortunate. Al dropped it on the exit curb there. And Fuba actually now got past Mike as well. So Mike must have had some sort of mistake there, because he's lost quite some time. And he's now dropped to 4th. Wondering whether he might have had some contact somewhere. And is fighting maybe with a bit of damage. Can't see any on the car at the moment. At least the wing itself is still on the car. But at the moment, it's looking really well for the Alpha Red Flying Monsters here, as the 2 red cars are pulling away. Getting 2004 flashbacks here for the Formula 1 fans. So, Mike currently down in 4th. Not the best first lap he's had so far this season. And he'll try and catch up to the back of Fubar here. Speedy Go actually reasonably close to Yogok here when they come down the front straight. So we'll have an eye out on the top 4 there. But Speedy Go with a bad exit there out of La Source. So let's have a look at Mike here. Looks like he got a reasonably decent run up Radillon. And he's slowly coming closer to Fubar, who's covering off the inside line. Michael will have to go to the outside, but looks like he has been close enough there. No way to go for him. Has to slot in behind. So has to try again next lap. And behind we can see Inky Chris, who's also trying to catch up to this pack to fight for a podium position. So we've got quite a few drivers now in. We have Vlad in, who was obviously collected by Happy Al, and Happy Al also got a penalty on top as well. That's very unfortunate. Looks like Choc was caught in some issues there as well, and Dominic at the back looks like he's having problems as well. He's trying to come to the pits. It looks like he might be having some issues. So 4 drivers unfortunately had to pit for repairs here at the end of lap 1. And looks like at the moment Mike isn't really putting any pressure on Fubar. He's actually having to look in his rear view mirrors now, as we have Inky Chris, who's really been performing well. Now putting the pressure on the young Dutchman. Question is, how well can Mike hold on to position when he's being put under pressure? Inky Chris not quite close enough here, coming into the chicane, but I'm very sure he'll have a go at it up the Camel Straight. But important for that is now going to be his run through La Source. As, whoops, a daisy. He gets a bit sideways there. That's definitely not going to help it, but I don't think Mike had the best of runs either. And neither did Fubar there, who's lost some time again. But that will mean Mike will get some slipstream. That's going to make it difficult for Inky Chris there to catch up. And again, lost a bit of time there through Eau Rouge and Réunion. And Fuba actually managed to get a penalty there, and Speedy Go also dropped some time there. So he's now 3 seconds behind his teammate, and has to watch out that he doesn't get caught up by this group of three. Oh, what a moment there for Mike, and he just held on to that one. That was about 25 or 30 degrees of angle there, and nearly threw it away there. So good reaction time there from Mike, and held on to that one, and didn't even lose a position there. But Fuba and Mike both with penalties already for track limits, as has Jack Game 88, and I think the Kinky one as well, if I'm not misled. So Fuba now with a bit more breathing space there after that sideways moment there from Mike. And again, he'll have to watch out to not get caught out there and get passed by Inky Chris, who's a fairly experienced driver, who will surely bide his time to get past. Oh, and that's the mistake there that Inky Chris was trying to force, as Mike gets onto the inside curb there, a bit too hard on the last chicane, and goes into the spin, and that has him has lost him that position. He's now down into 5th, so race pace not really there compared to qualifying, and currently only 5th for the championship leader. And you'll have to try and catch back up. Behind him we can see Smolder in the slipstream of Cameron 95 there, who's had a very decent first qualifying and a decent start to the race. Kept out of trouble, picked off a few positions, and is now in P6. Got more drivers in the pits. That's Atomic, Kinky One, and Gromazika. So it looks like they had some sort of issues and had to come into the pits. These cars are not very nice to you in dirty air, so it's quite vital, a lot of drivers have found, to participate in the practice races, because only then you can feel the effects of following another driver, because that's a completely different thing to driving on your own in these cars. Even if you think you've got the hang of it when you're driving on your own, and then in the dirty air, suddenly the car will behave very differently, and it has caught out a lot of drivers so far this season. And Inky Chris actually also caught up to the back of Fubar. Obviously Fubar already with that penalty, but very sure Inky Chris wouldn't mind to get past on track as well, as he has a, looks like he had a bit of over rotation there on turn in, but got a decent exit there. You can see he's literally right behind Fubar. That might hurt his run through Eau Rouge and Réunion, and yes it did, and now he might be too far away to make a move here at the end of the Kemmel Straight. So he was too close there in Eau Rouge, and then lost that time through Réunion, and that really hindered him from having a go there at Fubar. So I'm very sure he'll learn from that and try to have a little bit more of a gap when coming into that complex of turns, and then optimizing his exit onto the Kemmel Straight. Smolder still fighting away with Cameron there. As you can see, Vlad is already having blue flags. Obviously, he was in the pit, so we've got 3 lapped cars at the moment. Yoguk setting a new fastest sector 2, which is interesting considering he has been lapping cars. Currently has a 4.8 second lead towards his teammate. And we're already at the halfway point of the sprint race. These races always go past quite quickly. So looks like Yoguk might have a very good shot there, but still have some way to go. So not trying to commentators curse him. And as I say that, he looks like he has made a mistake because he's lost a second there. But yeah. Smolder now really close, and he might think about going into it, into the source. He's already on the inside there, but he's just making himself visible in Cameron's rearview mirrors. As someone exiting the pits there. So Smolder this time with a decent exit now. Can he get past though? Question is, how defensive is Cameron going to be? Looks like at the moment he doesn't feel too threatened. A little wiggle there, but Smolder wasn't really close enough. Just having a look here at Inky, Chris and Fubar. Fairly similar situation. Driver behind seems to be maybe a little bit faster, but at the moment can't find a way past his rival. And Mike behind is also closing in on the 2 to try and gain back the positions he has lost earlier in the race. TBW and Atomic picking up time penalties, and actually Inky Chris set a new fastest sector 1, but obviously he is in the slipstream of another car, so that's definitely going to help him down the straight. And we've got quite a few drivers currently picking up penalties, so towards the end of the race we'll have a little look as Inky Chris now actually going to the inside here, coming to the hairpin, but he was not quite close enough. Fubar a bit later on the brakes there, well defended even though he was on the outside. Maybe that ideal line there, that rubber on the outside helped him with a bit later braking. Inky Chris again having another little look, a bit sideways there on turning again. And couldn't make the move stick. Now again he's quite close behind Fubar. So can he get a better run this time? Yeah, that was a bit better than 2 laps ago. But I'm not quite sure if that run is going to be good enough. Or if he's going to run out of straight. Oh, you can see he's gaining now. He's gaining. He's going to the outside, coming through down to Lecom, side by side. And it's going to go round the outside there. That was a very good maneuver there from Inky Chris, getting past Fubar there. He's now himself starting to struggle with the dirty ace straight away. That battling has allowed Mike behind to close up to the 2. So pretty sure he is going to try and get involved in that now as well. And Inky Chris now on a path to his 3rd podium in his 3rd race in this season. And it's definitely looking very good for him at the moment. Also looking very good for Yoguk in P1. Has extended the gap to 6 seconds now. And at this point, it should be fairly easy for him to just keep that gap, maintain the distance, and drive this to the end. As Mike a bit late on the brakes there, runs a little deep into the chicane, lost him a bit of time. As Speedy Go set a fastest sector 3 there on the last lap. So tyre wear at the moment not seeming to be too much of an issue as the cars now burn off more and more fuel. We've got Ritvars here in the pits. You can see a bit of contact there on that left side pot and the front wing missing. So something definitely went wrong there for him. And let's have a little look at the current penalties. So Speedico currently with 5 seconds, but gap should be big enough. Fubar with 4 and Mike with 2. So currently Mike would inherit that 4th place from Fubar. There he is, currently going through Brussels. And it looks like Inky Chris is starting to build a gap there to Fubar. That's also going to play into the hands of Mike behind. Because Fubar is going to lose slipstream. But Mike himself has to watch out that he doesn't drop too far behind. And he'll lose the benefit as well. Currently the gaps between the 3 drivers, about 1.4 seconds each. So just currently having a look at the current standings. So Jorgok is 7 points behind Mike. And he would gain 17 points. So he'd move into the lead of the championship. Jack Game obviously only in 9th. Has had a fairly quiet race without any contention there. So he won't be a factor really in this race. Oh, that's Inky Chris into the wall there. Lost it on the top of the hill there, coming out of Radillon. We saw Speedigo do that in qualifying. Gromazika nearly doing it. And now Inky Chris went into the left side wall there. He still got his front wing on the car, but he might have some damage, which is going to slow him down. He's only got 2 laps to go, so I'm going to guess he's going to nurse it home now. He's got a 8 second gap. Mike and Fubar do have time penalties, but I'm not quite sure if Inky Chris has damage, and if he has, whether he'll be able to get pass. And looks like Fubar had some sort of issue there. Mike actually got past him there. He was very slow there, coming out of no name, and now he's got Inky Chris for company, and Inky Chris going to the inside there, so damage can't be that bad. And Fubar now drops to 5th, so he was in 3rd and he's now dropped 2 positions in just 1 sector. That's absolutely not gone his way. Oh, and he's just held onto that one. So maybe he's cooked up his rear tyres now. That's what it looked like at the moment. And has dropped to 5th. Our question is, Inky Chris here, he's 4.8 seconds behind Mike, but Mike does have a 2-second penalty. I think. Let's have a look. Yes, that's still the case. So if you can catch up, he would be able to get past due to penalties, but at the moment the gap is too big, and suddenly Mike finds himself back into 3rd after that early stage of the race not really going his way, but he's now got 1 lap to go to finish on the podium. So that means now that Jorg's going to gain 10 points, which would still put him 3 points ahead, but we will have another race tonight. So Mike will have the chance to strike back. It looks like it's going to stay very interesting at the top of the table as Ritvar's coming into the pits again, as again he's lost his wing. Just having a look whether this is actually his first race. I don't want to say anything that's wrong. No, it is his first. He's oh dear, is that a Lithuanian flag or Latvian? so he's from the Baltic states. And yes, it is his first race, so currently struggling to get adapted to the cars, but who hasn't been struggling today, who's actually had it fairly easy, is Yogurt here, as he's now in his last sector here of the sprint race, and it looks like it's going to be a very good result there for the Alpha Red Flying Monsters. I can see the gap is coming down to Speedigo, so I'm wondering whether they're trying to do a photo finish here, but no, he's just backed off a bit here, and he's now going to cross the line to win race 1 here at Spa, and his teammate Speedigo is going to complete that 1-2 finish for the Alpha Red Flying Monster. Very good result from them. Mike, with a bit of an up and down race, manages to finish on the podium, which is definitely a good result for the championship, as we can see the Alpha Red Flying Monsters here doing donuts. And the run of La Source there, Inky Chris, with that mistake, unfortunately lost his podium position. Is going to finish in 4th. Cameron is actually finishing 5th after Fubar's penalty, finishing in P6. And we've got Smolder coming home in 7th place. And Hegelon has moved all the way up into 8th now. So he's had a fairly decent race, as did TPW, who was, I think, second to last at the start of the race. Did lose a few drivers, unfortunately. Ritvars in the walls a lot and had quite a few pit stops there. But still going to gain a point there in 15th place. And TPW looks like he's going to finish inside the top 10. And Jack Game not with the best of races. He's going to finish in P10, it seems. Just having a look. Its current results were no worse than P4. So that was definitely not something he would have been hoping for, as he runs a little wide there. And definitely a very good race there from Yogok and from the Alpha Red Flying Monsters in general, as they will extend their lead in the team championship. Obviously the closest rival is Racing Team Oranje, but Hegelon not having as good results as the rivals, or as his teammates, but continuing to finish around P9-ish. And there we have the official race results. So we've got Yogok and Speedigo at the top there for the Alpha Red Flying Monsters. We've got Mike in 3rd, and then we've got Inky Chris, Cameron, Fubar, Smolder, Hegelon, TPW, and Jack Game, as mentioned, rounds off the top 10. On the further place, we've got Atomic, Vlad, Chock, the Kinky One, and Ritvars is the last one to get any points. And then Happy Al retired, so I'm not quite sure if he's actually going to claim that pole position for the reverse grid race, because I'm pretty sure you have to finish 90% of the race or something like that. But we'll have to wait and see. And going to be back in a moment with the race number 2, with the feature race, the main race, which will be twice the distance, and we'll have a lot of quick drivers trying to get through the field. And looking at Yogok's pace, it's going to be interesting to see if he can get to the front quick enough, stay out of trouble, unlike last week. Sorry. So see you all in just a few minutes. welcome back everyone to the feature race of tonight's Formula Renault 3.5 League. So, lobby settings have been changed. Everybody had the option for a quick break to quickly step out of the cars. And now everybody's back, and we will be doing a 20-lap race now for the main race. After the sprint race was 10 laps plus the formation lap, now we'll have 20 laps plus the formation lap. And currently the drivers again all getting ready. Now again checking their setup, their new fuel calculations, which obviously should be twice the amount they had in the first race. And checking their pit stop strategy, as now they will have to do a mandatory stop. Obviously, it is a possible option to just come in, put 1 litre fuel in and drive out again. That is sufficient enough for a pit stop. They don't have to change tyres or anything. So depending on tyre wear and your personal preference, different strategy options are available. And if you just want to do the quick and dirty splash and dash, that is a path you can take. So, let's get the track cameras going there, as everybody currently on the grid. And then when the green light comes on, we'll have the same procedure as in the sprint race. Everybody will pull to the sides and make way for people to come through the middle, and then get themselves sorted out. So the top 16 of the sprint race results will be reversed, and that will be the starting grid for the main race. And looking at Ritvers starting in first, my suggestion has been confirmed that since P16 didn't actually finish the race, doesn't get to finish or to start on pole position for the main race. So that means Ritvers here is gonna lead the grid. So in P2 we then will have the kinky one. Shock will start in third. Then we have Vlad, who had, I think, a decent qualifying, but then got caught out by Happy Al, dropping it at the exit of Lecom. And then unfortunately got tangled up there. Atomic is going to start in P5. Jack Game didn't have the best of races, only finished in 10th. He is now going to start in... so finished in 10th. Last race is now going to start in P6. We've got TPW in 7th, who had a decent race considering where he started. And Hegelum is going to start in P8. We've got Smolder in 9th. Fuba in P10. We've got Cameron 95 who's going to start just outside the top 10 in 11th. Inky Chris is going to start in 12th. Then we have Mike in P13. He's currently 3 points behind championship leader Yoguk, who's just pulling up there behind his teammate Speedy Go. And then we've got Happy Al and Darth Cyrus, who these two didn't finish the race, so they're going to start at the back here of the main race. And that's everybody there. We did lose another driver there between races. So I'm not quite sure who dropped out there, unfortunately. But we're going to have a grid of 17. And formation lap is now underway. So again, you can see everybody warming up tyres and brakes. And this time around might be a little bit more difficult to get that temperature in. It's bit later in the day, but it's also overcast compared to, I think, light cloud was what we had in the sprint race. So just looking at the onboard cam there, can see that's quite overcast there in the sky. A lot of clouds, bit of sun here, but most of the race will be under clouds. So definitely going to be interesting to see how the restart goes. Obviously, Ritvars with his first round tonight. So he's in a new position of leading a formation lap. And I hope he has familiarized himself with the rules concerning formation laps. But it looks like he's now going to slow down as we're approaching the formation point of the lap. And then we're going to set off once we get onto the start-finish straight. So just this is the view of Darth Cyrus, who I think had technical difficulties and couldn't start the last race. So he's got everyone in front of him here. As we're now coming through the final chicane, and Ritvars will lead them away here. As going around the corner quite slowly there because there was a bit of a gap. And he might actually choose to go early. I don't know. He's got a bit of a gap there. And he's gone right on the line there. Oh! Oh, and there's been a big collision there. There was a contact between the two Alpha Red flying monsters. Yogurt is in the wall. Speedy Go is involved. Happy Al. I think that's Inky Chris as well. Mike has been involved in it. So there was a huge accident there at the back. And took out basically everyone of the front runners. And Inky Chris actually drove the wrong way on the main straight there to pull into the pits. So not quite sure if that will involve some stewarding action after the race, because I'm pretty sure that's not legal to do. But he's going to pull into the pits now, and the other drivers will have to go round. So at the front here, oh, that's someone off there. I think that might have been Jack Game there. So it's a bit of shuffling around. Ritvars actually managed to hold on to that. Vlad is now in second. Kinky one in third, Chock in fourth, and we've got TPW up into fifth. Fubar was just ahead of that incident, so he managed to get away from that. He's already up into P6. Jack Game in seventh. Smolden P8, Hegelum in ninth, and I think that was Atomic there. Yeah, that was him. He went into the wall there in the left hand of No Name, and that's Cameron 95, Speedy Go. All of these guys, I think, have all got heavy damage. Most of them don't have any front wings, and they're going to limp it into the pits and come in for repairs, and hope that that was their last stop then. So at the front, Ritvars leading away from Vlad, and behind those two there's quite a bit of a gap. So that was a very nasty start there for sure. Looks like everybody had lined up nicely, and the start of the front looked good as well. But I don't know if it was Speedy Go who checked up there, but Yog definitely ran into the back of him there. Expected him to go, but he didn't. And that just triggered a massive accident. And that's not something that's supposed to happen between teammates. And now a lot of guys will come into the pits. As Vlad is now behind Ritvars here. So let's have a look if he can manage to get past. He's in the slipstream now. How hard is Ritvars going to defend? Went to the inside a little bit there, but saw that Vlad had quite a bit of overspeed, but he was very early on the brakes, to be honest. But gets that move done nevertheless. So Vlad and the Panasonic car there, now currently in the lead, and we've got in the pits. We've got Mike Geerlings, we've got Yoguk, we've got Cameron, we've got Speedy Go, we've got Atomic, and Happy Al, and Inky Chris obviously already was in the pits, and he's almost a lap down at this point. So we'll have to wait and see where he emerges compared to the other drivers. But yeah, that's about, what's that, 7 drivers out of 17 involved. And actually we even lost someone there, so I'm not quite sure who that was. We're down to 16 drivers currently, as Fubar putting pressure onto TPW here, which is the fight for P6. TPW already picking up a penalty. Fastest sector 2 there of Vlad. So let's see if Fubar can put the pressure on here through Blanchimont and down to the final chicane. But cars in front of him obviously all have a slipstream as well. So can't really profit from that at the moment. Oh, as he's very late on the brakes. But that was Chock there very early on the brakes. And I think TPW, did he get caught out? He's definitely slowing down. So I don't know what happened there to him. So Vlad now currently leading away the race in front of Ritvers there. And we've got already quite a gap. And the Kinky one currently in 3rd. And Fubar now up into 4th after getting past there. Smallden P5. Jack Game has a penalty, but he's currently in P6. And he's got Hegelum behind him. And I think that might be, yeah, that's the one of the Alpha Red Flying Monsters there in the background, who's a lap down. And actually, Speedy Go is in the pits again. Or still in the pits. Actually not quite sure about that. So Speedy Go coming out of it, as is Mike, and he's currently in last. And he's already 1.5 laps down as well. So again, Vlad setting a new faster sector 2. As we have Jack Game here trying to put the pressure on Smolder for what is currently P5. We've got Cameron into the pits. Oh no, he's lost his front wing. So he's coming in to get a new one. I was probably down to inexperience. Didn't seem like he was around anyone when that happened. And we've got a new fastest lap there from Vlad with 1:59.6, which is a respectable time on race fuel. And Jack Game 88 now trying to line up that move here. Coming towards Kennel Straight. And looks like Smolder got a terrible run out of there. Jack Game there. Jack Game with the huge gain. No wordplay intended there. And he gets past Smolder. And that is P5 for him. And I'm pretty sure that's much more like it from his perspective, considering how race 1 went compared to the first 4 races for him. And Atomic also picking up a penalty for track limits. And now Yorick has the difficult task of trying to not get caught up with the other cars, but we can see Smolder's actually letting him unlap himself. And trying to not open up the door for Hegelum as well, who's just behind. Oh, and as I say that, a huge moment there for Smoller. Keeps it out of the wall, but unfortunately loses a place to Hegelom there, who's now in P6 in the Team Fanatec car. New fastest sector for Vlad, who's currently extending his lead. Fubar has caught up to the back of the kinky one. So looks like Fubar's trying to improve his result from the sprint race and trying to finish on the podium this time around. Still very early in the race, but could be an important move for Fubar there. Got Smoller into the pits. So not quite sure what that was for, but we did see him having issues. So maybe he's cooked his tyres and putting on some new ones for his mandatory pit stop. And Fubar now ever close. A Chock also into the pits. And the mistake there from the kinky one. Being put under pressure there from Fubar. Oh, and he's very close here through Puon. But the kinky one could just hold on to that one. As they now come into campus. But fairly sure that Fubar should soon find a way around the kinky one. As he actually gets a time penalty for track limits there. So went off a little bit and got the penalty for it. So Fubar not quite close enough here, coming into the hairpin. So he'll try and line up a move for the Kemmel Straight. Or if he really gets a good run out of La Source, maybe into Eau Rouge, although that is a very risky move. So looks like he's currently in a decent distance here for the Eau Rouge Radion complex to try and get a decent exit. Used up a bit more road than the kinky one, and that allowed him to maintain a bit more speed as he's now alongside of the kinky one. It's going to be on the inside. It's going to be later on the brakes. Yes, he is. And that is Fubar through into third position onto the podium places. And next up would be Ritvars, but that one is already 6 seconds down the road. And as I talk about him, he actually gets a time penalty for track limits, as does Jack Game 88. So it's going to be interesting to see how Vlad is going to handle his new position he's in here. So from the previous 2 rounds, his best position was P5 in the very first race of the season, the sprint race in Germany. So I'm pretty sure he'll be very happy if he can maintain this position to the end of the race. Got still quite a way to go. About 25 laps, 25 minutes remaining. So he's got quite a way to go. But currently he's got an 8-second lead to P2. And just having a look, Fubar not started any chase yet. Still about 6 seconds behind Ritvars there. I don't know, is that him you can see in the distance? It might be. I think it's the second car in front of him. So, unfortunately, we lost someone again. Didn't catch who that was, and the race feed doesn't tell anymore. So let's have a look if we can find who it was. But unfortunately, I can't find out at the moment. TPW actually caught up to Hegelom here, who must have had some sort of issue or mistake, because he currently had a fairly comfortable gap. And actually, I think that might have been Smolder who lost, looking at it. So, yeah, Hegelom now under pressure from TPW. Race not going too well for both the top teams, for Racing Team Orgranje and the Alpha Red Flying Monsters. And looks like in the dirty air there, TPW are starting to struggle a little bit. And has again dropped back slightly. And race leader Vlad is using the opportunity to come into the pits here on lap 8. Car looks fine, so I'm going to guess that's a scheduled stop. So he coming in now with a quick stop, and he'll exit the pits again. So I'll have to wait and see where he exits. This is Jack Game 88 with Yogurt behind him, who's trying to unlap himself. And Vlad might just exit ahead of the two guys battling here, and yes, he does. That's very lucky for him, but depending on how his run is through here, he might get overtaken. Oh, and TPW nearly running to the back of Hegelom there, coming through Eau Rouge. And as they come out of Radion now, TPW is fairly close, but Hegelom is going to get that slipstream from Vlad. But it doesn't look like it's going to be quite enough. TPW is going to go to the inside there. Hegelom a bit late on the brakes. Just keeps it on the track, but compromises the run out of the second part of Le Com. And that looks like TPW is now going to have the inside as well as they come down into Brussels. And it is TPW who is going to be in P6 now, as he fought his way past through 4 corners to snatch that P6 from Hegelom. And pretty sure Vlad should be able to pull away now. We've got a bit of a gap now. So he was very lucky to just emerge in front of those two guys, because don't want to caught up in a battle like that with cars that are on different strategies when you're trying to win a race. Says Yogurt's getting blue flags, but I think he's just unlapped himself there. Yep, that's Jack Game there in the background. So Yogurt currently in 11th, but Inky Chris is already 40 seconds up the road. So it'll be difficult for Yogurt to get into the top 10. But he's currently gaining on his nearest rival Mike by a few points. Not quite sure where Jack Game is going to be if he stays where he is at the moment, which is virtually a P5, considering Vlad has already stopped. So, looks like Jack Game might profit from the other two drivers there having issues. Although we've got a little group formed here. We've got Happy Al, followed by Choc and Yogurt. And Happy Al actually just got past Choc there into 8th. As he also gets a time penalty, as does Kinky One and Ritvaz. And Speedy Go set a new fastest lap with 1:59.1. Interesting to see that he's currently faster than his teammate. And now we've got Mike into the pits. Oh no, he's had some sort of issue again. Oh, and it looks like he retired from the race, which is very unfortunate, because there's only 15 drivers left, so just driving to the end would give you some points. But yeah, if that 1 point, he's now at least given up. We obviously don't know where we would have finished, but would have been very possible to gain at least 1 point. If it's going to be 1 point at the end of the season that he is missing, that would be very unfortunate. So it's not a good idea to give up when the race is not going your way. But obviously you might have had some technical problems. We don't know that. But unfortunately it means that Mike won't finish this race. And Yogok will be glad to hear that. So he can gain some more points. Currently Yogok in 11th. That would gain him another 5 for his points tally. And that's actually Inky Chris there having a little look. As we get the worst camera shot possible for that. And he's got past Happy Al there. So thanks for that. Bad camera selection from the game there, as we couldn't actually see Inky Chris get past. But it's now back up into 8th after being caught up in the lap 1 or at the start collision. Speedy Go now setting a new fastest lap, 1:58.8, as the fuel burns off. And Vlad now caught up to the back of Jack game there. And I'm not quite sure, someone else must have pitted. I think that has been Fubar. He's now currently in 7th. So Fubar was in for a stop. I think it was currently, it was running in 3rd before. And Vlad will now have to manage a bit of traffic here. It's currently 19 seconds behind Ritvars. So at the moment it's looking very good for him. I think you lose about 30 seconds in a pit stop, maybe a bit more. Obviously depends on the track. And TPW and Fubar there having a little go. Oh no! TPW is actually into the wall. So I'm not quite sure if Fubar was close to TPW there. Sorry, that's actually Hegelum that was near TPW, I think. And he will have to come into the pits now for repairs. That's very unfortunate for him. But yeah, resuming here the battle between Vlad and Jack, who are technically on different strategies. So Vlad will want to get past, so he doesn't get held up and lose time to Ritvars. But on the other hand, you don't want to do anything risky in trying getting past cars that you're not really battling. But looks like he got a very good run there. And Jack not fighting it too hard, although Vlad shot himself in the foot there by braking very early. Because he basically already was past. Jack game knowing that it's not really fighting with Vlad. And wasn't defending too hard there, but Vlad just didn't get the move done. So I'll have to try again later. As we've got TPW into the pits now to repair his damage. And we've got Choc and Happy Al here who are fighting for P9. And the race of the newcomers has turned around for race 2. So in race 1, Cameron was doing better than Choc, and now it's the other way around as Cameron is last. But he did have quite a few front wing losses during the second race. So he was already in the pits quite a few times. So he's currently in 14th. That is still good for 2 points though. If you can just manage it to the end. And I just wanted to say Vlad is going to try and set up a new move there, but actually Jack Game ran wide there. And that allowed Vlad to get past. Atomic into the pits now. Is that for damage though? Nope. Car looks fine. So that looks like a planned pit stop this time. But we'll definitely need to have a look at penalties when we come to the end of the race. We'll have quite a few of them in the top 5 as well. So that might shake things around at the end of the race. Alright, next lap, next try. Chock still in the slipstream of Happy Owl, who is part of, what's it? It's just called Happy Game, so it's not a Happy Game team or anything, it's just Happy Game, which is Happy Owl and Jack Game. So, Chock having a look up the inside here, but I don't think he's quite close enough. The door was open. Happy Owl could have maybe shut that door a bit harder, but prefer to have a more optimal line, and that was enough to defend his position. So that's the onboard view there of Chock, and when you have this view of your rival, and you've been behind him for a few laps, obviously you start thinking about what you can do to get past, because I'm pretty sure he will feel that he's faster than Happy Owl. As he runs through corners like this, that won't help him. But yeah, you're going to think about how you're going to set up a move. Maybe try and set up your rival as well. Sometimes it's possible to maybe make a move in places that your rival wouldn't expect, and that was a very unorthodox line through Blanchimont there. He's on the brakes quite early, so is he maybe coming into the pits now? No, he's not. Also might be a consideration. Oh, as he there's a bit of oversteer that, so he's lost quite a bit of time there in that last sector. But yeah, usually you'll have to try and think about how you want to get past. But at the moment, you'll just have to try and hold on to Happy Owl, because those mistakes aren't really helping him. So let's have a look at Vlad here. It's lost about, I think, maybe a second. Although I think that number's just fluctuating, so him and Ritval are virtually the same pace. And as I say that, Vlad gets a time penalty for track limits. But at the moment he should have about a 10-second lead once the two in front of him come in for a stop. And he'll have to watch out that the kinky one doesn't get in his way. He is currently 3.5 seconds up the road, and I think yet to make a stop. So the leaders in this feature race really profiting from not being caught up in that incident, because they started in the middle of the pack and not the back. Or in Ritval's case, he actually started in first, and is currently in a good way to finish the race in second, which would be a good result considering it's only his second race, his first round of the season. And only got 6 laps to go after this one. So we're definitely coming to the back end of the race. TPW into the pits again. This time he doesn't have any damage though. At least none that we can see. So he coming in for a stop. As is Chalk. Who lost quite some time to happy out. So maybe he was burning up his tyres. But since the car's on the ground, maybe he's only refueling. Might also be an option. Tomic there getting blue flags, and I think that was yeah, Inky Chris there who lapped him. Inky Chris recovered well from that lap 1 incident, although he did drive the wrong way for about 100 meters or so to pull into the pits. So have to wait and see if that will have any consequences. But currently he's running in 7th. Speedy Girl also recovered up to 9th so far. His teammate Yoguk only in 12th. So even though Speedy Girl was also caught up in that incident, he's recovered better than his teammate. And is at least trying to hold the flag high there. And that was someone in the background there who went off. So I'm just going to quickly switch through the cars to see if I can see if that was. But unfortunately I can't. But Fubar here is lost his front wing, so it might have been him. But that looked very weird there in the background, because he just speared off into the wall. That's a very odd way to lose the car in Radeon. So, wow. Not quite sure what happened there. That's very unfortunate for Fubar, and he will have to make a stop. It wasn't a very good way to finish on the podium. And we've got Mike in the chat now. Good evening. Yeah, I agree that was a very messy start. And I'm sure we'll have some time to talk about perhaps what happened after the race. Because it was hard to see what actually caused all of that. So we'll have to wait and see. And that is Yoguk there behind, who's actually catching up. And Yoguk also without a front wing. What about TPW? He has one, but he's not been the fastest so far. So we've got 2 drivers here driving around without front wings. And oh no! Oh, there's been a collision between... was that game lag? Yeah, I don't know. At this point, I'm not even sure what happened there. But talking about the front then, at least Vlad nearly running into the back of the kinky one there, because he got an amazing exit out of Radeon. Now they're going to go side by side here into Les Combes. See how hard kinky one's going to fight that one. Oh, Vlad just running a bit wide there onto the curb. And that allows the kinky one back up into 2nd place. And this is really not what Vlad would want, because currently he's 23 seconds behind, so he's lost another 3 seconds to Ritvars. Ooh! As he just holds onto that one, slides onto the AstroTurf and onto the runoff there, nearly into the wall through no name. But yeah, that is what I had been talking about just a few laps earlier. And once he catches up to the kinky one, that he doesn't want to get hold up. Looks like he's... where do you go? He actually went into the gravel there, so I think he might have overheated his tyres. Because it's starting to slide now quite a bit. So he really will have to try and hold on to that, and the gap now to the lead is 32 seconds. Pretty sure Ritvars still has to make a pit stop, but with that gap, I'm not quite sure if Vlad is going to stay ahead. And Fubar, as he went into the pits to get a new front wing, looks like he sped and got a time penalty for it. Kinky one now coming into the pits, so Yeah, I'm pretty sure, as well as Jack Gamers, by the way, who are currently up in 4th, it seems. Yeah, Vlad would have wanted Kinky One to come in a lap earlier, because he might have been, or might have had a little less trouble, to be honest. But yeah, the gap currently is 32 seconds. Again, still fairly sorry. Certain that Ritvar still hasn't made his mandatory stop, with 3 laps to go. And I think it might be quite close between the two once he makes his stop. And also those two have penalties. I'm just seeing that Vlad has actually 13 seconds worth of penalties, whereas Ritvar's has 6, so he might actually win this race. To be perfectly honest, Jack Game has 17 seconds of penalties, so that's not too good. So Kinky Mon, I don't know what the gap there is going to be after the pit stops, so he might profit from that. As he comes out of the pits now, but I think the gap might just be too big, as Hegelom and Inky Chris just behind him there. So good time pit stop there, came out in front of those two, and yeah, the gap to Jack Game is at 20 seconds, so he's not quite close enough. Pardon. Sorry, a bit of a cough there. So it's not quite close enough to profit from Jack's penalty, unless he has a massive run now to try and catch up. And Vlad's still currently running a second, but considering the penalties he has, doesn't look very likely like he's going to be able to challenge for first, as I think that might have been... I think that was Speedy Go, yeah, that he just let through to unlap himself. So Speedy Go, only half a minute now off the lead lap. And he has been one of the fastest drivers throughout the race, at least after he got his damage repaired. As Hegelom here battling with Inky Chris. This is the battle for P5. And both of them don't have any penalties, so this definitely is for position. But I have to see where Inky Chris is going to try and pounce. Obviously into the chicane might be an option, but currently Hegelom is profiting from the slipstream. He's getting from Kinky One ahead. Whoops, that was a bit of a swerve there from Inky Chris, as Hegelom is defending the inside there. Inky Chris trying to get a good run out of La Source here. It's actually already side by side here, coming down to Eau Rouge, and Inky Chris already through before they come there into the turn there. So that was a very good maneuver there, but now he'll have to watch out to not get re-overtaken here on the Camel Straight, because he's got Hegelom all over him. He's covering off the inside there. Hegelom in the slipstream now. Sure, he's going to try to go... No, fake to the outside, goes to the inside. Oh, but he was just not quite close enough. Inky Chris holding on to that one. Only just. And yeah, Hegelom trying to fake the move to the outside and then went to the inside, but was not quite close enough. Just ran out of... straight there to try and re-overtake, and that means Inky Chris is now through to P5. So good overtaking there from Inky Chris. So Ritvars again went past the pits. I mean, I might be mistaken about his pit stop situation, but I'm fairly certain that he will still have to do one. As Vlad really looks like he will have to settle for second. And interesting enough, Jack Game 88 managed to make his way forward up into third. So good race there from him as well in the Sheriff Tizer car. And just having a look here, is Hegelom going to be able to try and re-overtake? At the moment, doesn't really look like it. I've got the Kinky One ahead of them as well. So he might hope that Inky Chris and the Kinky One start battling. As Hegelum went over the curbs there. Bit too hard. Lost a little bit of time in the final chicane. And it does look like Inky Chris actually with a newfound pace here at the end of the race. Considering he did stop before Kinky One. And looks like he's going to try and get past now. But probably this time around he's not going to be quite close enough. He's going to have another lap after this one. And now Ritvars actually is coming into the pits at the last possible opportunity. It's going to be interesting to see whether he actually emerges ahead of Vlad on track. But obviously we've talked about that penalty situation. Can show it on screen as well. Vlad with 7 seconds more than Ritvars. So even if he does manage to get ahead, I think the penalties are going to shoot him in the foot. And as I say that, I'll switch to him. He nearly puts it into the wall and just keeps it out of it, as he's now starting the final lap and is actually not going to be in the lead. But as I've said, the penalties would prevent him from winning anyways. And Inky Chris slowly running out of time to get past Kinky One. Although Kinky One with penalties, so Chris not necessarily having to get past. But obviously, as a driver, you wouldn't necessarily know that. So we'll do everything he can to try and get past. And looks like he's fairly close here. Might get a chance going into the final chicane here. Looks like he's gonna wait out for now. And try and get past now after the source. You can see how close he really is. Right on the gearbox there of the Kinky One. Oh, and he has had a bit of a wiggle there on turn-in. And surely Inky Chris again trying to profit from that. Coming down to Eau Rouge. But this time he wasn't quite close enough there. Now the run through Eau Rouge and Radion is going to be very important. And he's right behind the Kinky One there. How hard he's going to defend. Went to the inside, now decided to go to the outside. And I think he's going to be, he's going to be far enough ahead. So, unless he gets a really good run out of Stavolo, I think Inky Chris is going to run out of options. Or he'll have to try and surprise the Kinky One somewhere. But, I mean, he's all over him here at this point. And, did he just disconnect? No, that was just a lag spike, guys. The car just disappeared. I got shocked there for a moment, but it's going to be Ritvars here, who's going to finish the feature race in first position after starting on pole on the reverse grid. So, great result there from him. Vlad going to finish in second place. Definitely not a shabby result for him as well. First podium for him. And it looks like Jack Game 88 is going to manage to get onto the podium. Which is going to be his fourth one of the season in the sixth race. So good effort there from him. And just having a look here, Inky Chris just behind the Kinky One. But again, he's not really close enough. And that is the final chicane there for Inky Chris and the Kinky One. But I think due to penalties, that might change there. We'll have to wait and see as they come across the line. And it's going to be Inky Chris who gets fourth position. Kinky One's going to finish in P5, which also still is a good result. Hegelung coming home in sixth, which is might actually be his best result of the season so far. Happy Al coming home in P7 in the other Happy Game car. And then Speedy Go, after being caught up in that start incident, managed to drive his way all the way up into P8. And still just setting a fastest sector 2 on this lap. So he definitely was the fastest car in the second race. But already lost a lot of time there on lap 1. Would have been interesting to see what he could have done if he had a clean race. But P8 is definitely not too shabby result, considering the start of the race. And that completes the finishes for the feature race. So this is the full race results, as we have Ritvars with his first win in the second race, Vlad with his first podium, and Jack Game rounding off that podium positions. And we have Inky Chris, the kinky one, Hegelom, Happy Owl, Speedy Go, TBW, and Yogok rounding off the top 10. And then we've got Choc, Cameron, Fubar, and that is all of the finishers. Smolder, Domino, Mike, and the like have all retired. Right, save the replay so I can have a look at what's happened there later on. And let's get into the interviewing area. Let's see if we can talk to a few drivers who maybe got caught up in that incident as well, because that would be too interesting to see what exactly happened there. So let's have a look. There we go. And we do have someone in as well. So let's check all those boxes so we can hear them as well. So let's talk with the first driver tonight. It's Mike. Good evening.
Good evening.
So a bit up and down probably from your perspective. Usually I do start with qualifying, which looked to go fairly well, but considering what happened in the second race, I feel like it would be a bit weird to push that behind. And let's just start off with what happened there in the start of the feature race. It was a bit hard to see from the TV cameras, but because it was quite far in the back. But yeah, just looked like a bit of a checkup, and then just everybody ran into each other. Tell us a bit about what happened from your perspective.
To be honest, I really don't know what happened. What I do know is that the warm-up lap was one big chaos. So, yeah, need some investigation with that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, fortunately, we've got the replay feature there on Project Cars, so to have a look. But yeah, I'm. Apart from that, obviously, I think you had a few more issues in the second race. Was that in battles or just dropped the car on your own?
Yeah, I dropped it on my own, and then after I was spectating and I got disconnected, so I don't have to replay. So need to ask my friend. So yeah, I don't know what happened.
So you left due to a disconnection.
When I was spectating, I got disconnected, so I don't have the full replay.
Oh. Well, I mean, technically there would have been a possibility to gain a point in 15th, since we had 14 finishes. I've already said, considering you're in somewhat of a championship battle, I think it's fair to say, after 3 rounds there with Yoguk, are you worried that maybe 1 point might make the difference at the end?
I don't know. The pace today from my side wasn't really there too, so I was happy with my podium in the first race, and then after that, yeah, the luck wasn't there for me.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a frustrating evening there. So maybe better luck next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for the interview. So next up in the commentary box, we have Inky Chris. Good evening.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you feeling after the 2 races tonight?
Yeah, it was interesting. These cars seem very skitty around this track for whatever reason. Everyone was kind of driving on knife edges, I felt like. But yeah, it was a bit hairy, but good fun. A lot of kind of wheel to wheel and like close driving. So that's what we turn up for, really.
Absolutely. Obviously, I've already talked about it with Mike there, but maybe tell us a bit about your perspective and maybe your idea what exactly caused all of that mayhem there at the start of the main race.
Yeah, well, to be honest, the tight chicane is always going to cause a few issues with the rolling start. I think it's just a combination of kind of people less experienced with the rolling start that we do, and kind of trying to keep in mind that people further back down the field are going to have to try and get through that corner a lot closer to cars than the guys at the front. So I think it's just a kind of lack of experience that kind of meant that they got a bit too far ahead, and then everyone started rubber banding, and then it looked like someone at the front had gone, and then they hadn't, and then the people in the middle kind of full started and stopped, and then just the rest I'm sure you witnessed yourself.
Yeah, I definitely saved that replay for later though, because it was definitely difficult to see what exactly caused that.
Yeah,
it did look like initially the first two cars that really ran into each other were the two. What's it called? I always get the Alpha Red Flying Monsters. I always get those four mixed up in order. And which was interesting considering those are two very experienced drivers. So I'm not quite sure if they caused it or if they were the first ones to get caught up in it. But it was definitely interesting to see that those were the first two drivers to come together, considering their teammates as well.
Yeah, I have to watch that one back. I think I couldn't really. I was just focusing on trying to lose as little time as possible after that. So I was just like, well, I guess I'm pitting now.
I did
kind of
catch
locked you into a strategy.
To that. You think you're going to be in trouble for
that? Well, maybe, but we'll see. I don't think it's written in the rule book, and the game didn't get upset about it. So. Although it might be that I've ruined it for everyone else now, that it will be added to the rules. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. It was
definitely
a good race,
have to wait and see. That was interesting tactics. Let's put it that way.
Well, I was already facing the wrong way, so I kind of thought, well, it's only there.
Well, considering you've
it's a bit cheeky.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, considering you got involved in your first proper huge crash in this league, and had good results as well, though, in the other races. You think you've now fully joined the league, fully integrated?
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, like I said last week, which I don't think my mic was working for.
It was. There was an issue with I didn't have your mic activated for the stream, unfortunately.
Like I said last week, or last time, it was just because I was in the GT3 league. I kind of didn't really get up to speed with joining the start of this one. So yeah, I'll definitely commit to seeing this one through because it's a good laugh, fun car, bit difficult, bit challenging, but it's always good fun. So.
Yeah, definitely looks like the pace is there. And considering all of your interview and the same question I have asked 2 weeks ago, unfortunately that wasn't broadcast due to me forgetting to click one button. Just asking the same question. Next up in 2 weeks is Monza. Looking forward to that one.
It's not my favourite track, I'll be honest. Although... I quite like tracks with good braking zones for the passing, especially in these cars because the downforce really, when you're in someone's draft, it you just absolutely, you just lose all of the grip. So actually, the kind of faster, higher downforce circuits are a bit worse for these, I think. So actually, it might create some good wheel-to-wheel action, which is what we want. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see, but yeah, quietly optimistic, I think.
Sounds like you're looking forward to some good slipstreaming in 2 weeks' time. Thank you very much, Chris.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Cheers.
All right, so I've just already talked about it. So next stop is Monza in 2 weeks' time. We will have the next doubleheader. So you shouldn't miss out on that one. And I'm pretty sure after tonight's races, it's still fairly close at the top, at least the top three with Yogurt, Jack Game, and Mike. I hope you enjoyed watching the race tonight. I've been having a lot of fun and wishing you all a very good evening. See you guys in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.